Hello, it's me James and welcome back to the channel, and welcome to the channel if you are new here. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you a very simple any item duplication glitch that will duplicate, like I said, any item in the game. You're going to be able to do this on realms, servers, and normal worlds. But for the purpose of today's video, I am in my simply survival realm. As you can see here, realms stories. So I'm in my simply survival realm. This one, I've actually showed it on my channel before, though I've not showed how to do it in the overworld. There are some quite significant changes that will allow you to do this in the overworld, making things a little bit easier to do this duplication glitch, and it is very powerful. The items that you are going to need are as followed. You're going to need 1 lever, 59 redstone dust, 3 redstone repeaters. You're going to need a single hopper, though you can bulk this system up and add more, so I'll show you that at the end anyway. And you're also going to need 3 chests for 1 module. So 1 hopper and 3 chests for 1 module. You're also going to want any item in the game you want to duplicate. The most efficient way would be to do full shulker boxes. So I've got this full shulker box right now, and I'll show you what's in it in a sec. And you're also going to need a solid block that will act as a holder block. We're just going to use sand. And yeah, the items I'm going to be duplicating in this shulker box are literally completely random. You can fill it up as well. Probably the most efficient way would be to obviously have a full shulker box full of full stackable items. Though, if you wanted to duplicate some non-stackable items, feel free to put them in the shulker box as well. And yeah, we are pretty much ready to do the duplication glitch. So there is one more very important thing that you are going to need. You are going to need to decipher where some chunks are. Now, I'm doing this via a pack. This is called the Mad Hatters pack. This pack will be available on the Jam Fam Discord, link in description. You can also do a quick Google search, just Mad Hatters chunk pack, and it should come up for a free download. So we're going to need to mark out 5 different chunks. Now, this chunk on the end is going to count as one as well. So we're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, and of course 5, which will bring us down to this block right here. Now you can see that this block is 1 off the end, so this is the end of the chunk. You are going to want to keep all of your build inside this section of chunks, so you don't want it to go over into these chunks, but instead you want to keep the build into this chunk right here. Okay, so you can see how we've got this line of chunks, and I'm going to be doing it on the very end. So if I do want to extend it, I've got a full 16 blocks and even above and below to continue doing so if I so choose. So like I said, 5 chunks deciphered, and I know they're 5 chunks deciphered because of these blocks. Once you have got your 5 chunks, you can do it in any direction as well. I'm just choosing to do it this way. We're going to come to our end chunk like this. And essentially, yeah, so this is the 5th chunk. This is the 4th chunk. This is also in the 4th chunk, as you can see. It's right on the corner of the 4th chunk. And the reason I've done that is because I'm going to grab my chest. So the singular chest can go straight into the ground with a hopper on top and a double chest. And this one, as you will see, this one will go into the 5th chunk. So half of the double chest is in the 4th chunk, and half of the double chest is in the 5th chunk. This is very important information. Now what we can do is simply bring a redstone current to this hopper, and we're simply going to want to do a lever, redstone dust, and our repeaters. So I already know that my 5 chunks would start here, so we're going to start with our lever right here. Again, my apologies about the gas. I've just got so many right now. And we're also going to use our dust and repeaters. So we're going to put it on so it will charge it. And basically, when the charge runs out, we're then going to want to put ourselves a little repeater. Alright, and this is essentially is just going to stretch the current all the way down to our hopper. Remember, when the current runs out, add a repeater, and you should be good to go. So we want one right there, and let's finish this off by running our remainder redstone all the way to that hopper. what this will do, now it's turned on, is essentially allow you to put stuff in this chest without it falling through to the bottom chest. It is now locked the hopper, as you can see. So there is a special formation, what you're going to need to do to put your items in. So basically, you're going to look at the chest like this, and you've got the top corner and the bottom corner. The bottom corner is actually in this chunk. So we're going to have the items we want to duplicate in the 5th chunk, and this right here will class as the 4th chunk, which is the top corner, which is that side of the chest, and we're going to have that in the corner. Make sure you have this formation down correctly, or it will not work. So now we are actually ready to perform this duplication glitch. So I'm going to go all the way down here near my lever, and this is where things start to change in the overworld. So we're going to stand at the lever, and essentially, we are going to want to save and quit. Now, depending on if you are the owner of the realm, you're going to have to do a different thing. So, if you're not the owner, you're probably going to want to wait around. I would say give it a solid 3 to 5 minutes. This is going to allow the game to make a backup of this realm, allowing the realm to remember that point in time, and then you can go ahead and do the duplication glitch. Now, if you are the owner of a realm, this is what you're going to want to do. You can actually force a backup really fast. So you go into the settings, and then you have 2 different worlds that you can activate. We're going to activate this world, and essentially what this will do, when I'm activating this world, it will force a backup to my previous world. So I'll show you that right now. We're just going to wait for the obviously this bit to load. Hopefully it does not take too long. Normally it's like instant, so this is a really good way to make backups on your realm if you didn't know this. If you need it for something else, this is a really great way to do it. Of course, downside is you do need to be the owner of the realm, otherwise you are going to have to wait. Just having some of my coffee. So yeah, it's just basically activating the world. Again, I have no idea why it takes so long, but we go with it. We'll just have to go with it and wait. And soon as this has been activated, you can see we've got the tick on here. We can reactivate this world, and then we can go into the edit button, and this will essentially show us the backups. So you're going to look at the time. I'm looking at the time, and this is the exact same time as when I'm recording this video. The exact same time as it is right now. This means this is a backup. Of course, we've got the date. So you're going to want to remember this time. We're not going to need to use that backup. You just need to force a backup for this duplication glitch to work. So now we can actually go back on our realm. Remember, we've got the items ready. We want to duplicate. We've also forced our backup. There is one more step we need to do to be able to duplicate our items. It's very, very simple. And these basically replace going through the portals. So, of course, the other version I showed you, you could go through the end portal and go through an end gateway. And this essentially just stops you from having to do that. Maybe you can do this with another portal, but I've not checked any of that information yet. I've just tried the relog method, which does require your backup. So we're going to go like this. And as you can see, it was off, but for some reason now it's on. We're going to go like this, and then we're going to quickly save and quit. So I turned off the lever, and then I'm going to save and quit. At this stage, we can join the realm again. Hopefully, it doesn't take too long. We're going to join the realm, the doxing realm. Definitely not where I am. Maybe. I don't know. But anyway, we're back on, and we can go down to our system. And now we should have duplicated items. Now, I did test this without the backup, and it did 100% not work. You can see we've got 2 shulkers instead of 1 now. And like I was saying, without the backup, this does not work. Though there are things we can do right now to bulk up this system. So I'm going to add a few more modules to show you how to do it. So now what I'll do is I'll show you how to add some more modules on. I'm going to cut that last bit because I was basically just looking for extra resources. And yeah, basically it's exactly the same. So you're essentially going to want to dig out an area next to these. You could probably do it on top, depending on how high your redstone is. But because the redstone current goes to there, we're simply going to go to the top. So we know a chest is facing that way. So essentially, if you place the chest at the bottom in different directions, they are not going to go into double chests. And that is more than perfect. So now we are going to want to grab our hoppers. And we're also going to want to add our double chests. Now, these can just go on as normal double chests. And apparently, we've run out of chests again. But what we'll do is we'll remove this one. And we'll have it as our module instead on top. Right there. You see what I mean? So we're going to add that right there. So now we've got more than one module. Now to link these up is a little bit different. We're going to use repeaters. So we're going to go 1, 2, and that should be a-okay with the redstone. In fact, what we can do is we'll take them off and we'll have this one like this and then this one like this. And that way we can just go like that. And it makes things a lot easier. Alright. So, essentially, yeah, you're going to want the redstone going towards that. So, maybe, actually, you can just have repeaters next to all of them. So, just make sure your redstone is actually connecting to your hopper. You see how that doesn't connect? Just make sure your redstone's connecting to your hopper. And we're just going to use repeaters for that. That's going to be absolutely perfect. Now, we're going to want to grab some extra items we want to duplicate. I'm just going to grab some of these duplicated shulker boxes that I was testing with. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We can grab a few more at the dupe box. Oh, I thought I had some more in there. Apparently not. Well, we can do this with another random item as well. And we're also going to need some holder blocks. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, we only have 5 chests anyway. That's fine. So remember, we're going to want to put them in on the same formation, but we're going to have to go back down here first to make sure our lever is actually on. Perfect. And you can see here that because we've took away a repeater, it doesn't actually go all the way down here. So to literally fix that, simply replace that with that, and it should then go around. Look at that shadow. That shadow was so bad right then. Wow, that shadow is so bad. Anyway, yeah, we fixed that annoying shadow right there. And now we can add our items to be duped. Again, I have showed this on my channel before, but not in the overworld. So hopefully, a lot more people's going to benefit from this as well. Maybe you've not got to the end yet. Maybe you just don't like working in the end. So, really, this duplication glitch that was in the end, it might not have been for you. However, this one, you might think, oh yeah, this one, definitely going to try it. So there we go. We've got all those different shulker boxes in. We've got one left over and the rest are empty. I'll just confirm that the rest are empty. And now we're going to start that beginning process again. Super easy to do. We're simply going to save and quit and force our backup. Now, of course, you do know what to do. In fact, I won't skip it. I'll just leave this so you, in case you missed it, we'll activate that. Hopefully, it doesn't take too long. And this will 99% of the time create you a backup. Remember, always make sure to double check you've got that backup there. We're just going to wait right now for this to load. Again, normally this doesn't take too long, so you might get lucky and it might take a little bit quicker. But apparently, because we're recording, it's just going to take forever. But, I mean, I can sip my coffee and wait. It doesn't matter. We are just waiting for the realm information. And, yeah. So, either way, you're going to have to wait if you're not a realms member. Because you got to wait for that backup. And then we're just going to activate this. Again, we're going to look at that backup that it is just made. Remember to check the backup. Because sometimes it might not. Alright. So, you just double check it's done the backup. Like a minute away from the time that you just did it. That should be good to go. And now we have our backup in position. We should be able to jump on and start the duplication glitch. Like I said, this one is very OP. We have a full shulker box duplication glitch. So it is very nice. Like I say, you can also bulk up this machine, as I'm showing you right now, to do more than one shulker box. And like I said, yeah, you'll see the results of that very, very, very shortly. We're just waiting for it to load in. Again, I do apologize about the loading time. But we're back, and we can literally flick that switch and save and quit. And then we can immediately load back in and receive our duplicated items. So we're going to jump back onto Simplet Survival. The best survival realm on all of Minecraft. Everybody knows that. Yeah, definitely not being doxed again. And here we go. We can fly back down here. And now we should have 2 in each chest at the bottom, as you can see. And remember, all of this system... All right, we don't have one right there. So that one didn't work. That one worked. And that one worked. I have no idea why this one right here didn't work, but the rest did. So that's very interesting. Maybe we did something wrong. But the rest did. You can see we got 1, 2, 3, 4 that actually worked. But the top one right here, it did not work. Very interesting indeed. Maybe it was to do with lags. I have no idea. Either way, you can expand this all the way to the end of the chunk. So if you wanted to go all the way to here and possibly on top all the way up, you could do that. I've done a video before, like I briefly mentioned, where I do a kind of a machine like this. It's kind of the same mechanic, but you use 64 different modules, and you also use minecarts. So it's a little bit different, but it is kind of the same mechanic. So I don't see why you couldn't bulk this up massively and get yourself a bunch of shulker boxes. And that, my friend, is how to duplicate any single item on Realms servers and normal worlds. Remember, make sure you've got everything perfect, laid out perfectly. Again, it's a little bit annoying how you have to pick the chunks. On a bright side, though, you just have to make sure you are in the chunk. You can go any direction. It's not directional. And that makes things nice and easy as well. And that, my friends, is all I've got time for today. I will catch you guys on the next one.